So this is the fourth day of this Sesshin, and this is how this Sesshin works. We sit Sasen rounds after rounds after rounds. We do sit informal Sasen. We can sit on a chair, we can lie on a bed, and we still can do practice, or we can sit in Zendo. But after these few days now, we've been doing this together, and we have noticed some changes. Maybe our mind is working differently. We are not so, perhaps a little bit more calm, more quiet, more space, more clarity. And then in Doksan, people might say that they wish that this would continue longer. Of course, we know that you say so and next day you will cancel your words, perhaps. You say, no, I actually don't want. But those moments comes when we think that I could sit much longer than these few days now. And that can feel quite strong, that need to or want to sit more. Suddenly you see clearly that this is it, this is what I want to do. I just want to sit, I just want to deepen this and to let go and be here. That it's a magic, kind of magic of Sasen. And like real spring, we can't really remember it. How does it feel when spring comes? The real spring is always much more than any imagination can offer. It's so everywhere. It's just so and same with Sesshin also. Few days before Sesshin begins, we might think many funny ideas that during Sesshin we see differently. Oh, I was so occupied with unnecessary thoughts and I was so concerned some things that it's not really there. But not always is Sesshin just easy ride. Usually it's a little bit bumpy road also. Memories and feelings and past karma is surfing, coming to the surf. It's almost perfect and then suddenly some difficult emotion appears. But we are not afraid of those things. We know that they comes and we know they goes. And oftentimes practice helps. At some point it starts to probably lessens those difficult moments. Usually so. there is this one koan, because today I didn't know what to say, so I thought about this Christmas calendar, and now is window 5. So I opened the koan book and took the koan number 5. So today's Christmas calendar picture is as following. Kyoken said, "It is like a man up a tree, hanging from a branch by his teeth. His hands can't grasp a limb, his feet won't reach one. Under the tree there is another man who asks him the meaning of Bodhidharma's coming from the west. If he doesn't answer, he fails the questioner. If he does answer, he will lose his life. At such a time, what should he do?" In the Kanseon Sutra, there is this that we are chanting every morning. There is this one situation where someone is roped from the top of the whole body is roped, binded. And in this koan it says that his hands can't grasp a limb, his feet won't reach one. So if we want to make a vivid picture, we could see someone, a really ugly, sad situation that is kind of tortured almost. Your hands are binded, your legs are, and then you are lifted up the tree to hang there from a branch by your teeth. That would be a terrible place to be. And then somebody asks you even something, and you are such a bodhisattva that you feel that you have to answer anyway. So what we do when we are in a situation like this, or are we ever? It is like we can ask ourselves, or maybe we know without asking, but what are those branches? What is the branch that I am hanging by teeth? What am I biting so desperately hard? Of course, no one voluntarily want to be up there, but so ganai, as you say. If you find yourself there, how to be free then? At peace? Can you be in harmony with the tree if you are hanging there by teeth? It's quite easy to give some advices while standing under the tree and seeing someone there. But someone once asked, it was a kind of an interview. I was interviewed, and someone asked that, or this person asked that, what about compassion? Does Zen has a compassion? Because he felt that he hasn't heard so much about compassion and Zen, but other Buddhist schools much more, doing like intentionally practices that supports compassion and are kind of talking about compassion and such. one thing I said anyway was that based on my own experience, is that sitting zazen in Sesshin has taken me to most terrible places I ever been. And of course, not only that, but those places, yes. And because of that, and because I still keep doing this and have done it some time, I've noticed that those painful places, we have this wonderful Wheel of Life Tibetan picture on the wall there, another room. And there we see those worlds, we see those 6 realms pictured in detail. Whether they are mental places we go, or even if they are real places somewhere in this cosmos, who knows? All is possible. Because it's anyhow mental, or it doesn't matter if it doesn't look like a real hell. If it feels, it does look like a real hell. Someone's hell is someone's heaven. Same thing works differently for different species. So, I'm not sure if I made myself very clear when I said that because I've done this and I have went to very difficult places while in Sazen, and sometimes it has felt so painful to be there that it's almost unbearable. Or it is unbearable, but still somehow you are hanging there by your teeth. And those moments sometimes, like a religion, somebody says, religion begins with the cry of help. And when you are there hanging, you can't say it aloud because you will die. You will come down. But silently in your heart, you might cry help. Not necessarily knowing how to address this help. Where, to whom. But as we have done this a few times and being in hell, we have also Kanseon Sutra. And that's something quite, it works. Kanseon, compassion, is not just one being, one bodhisattva who is that compassion. It's of course everywhere. We are full of compassion. We are compassion. But it's blocked. It's hidden under some layers of greed, hate, and ignorance. But when we are facing difficulties and hard times on a mat, and we see and we experience ourselves in big trouble, a little bit of some pride, something will come down in pieces. We are not so proud anymore. Maybe we will ask silently help. Maybe we understand that it's not just my own suffering that I am going through. It is the suffering It's a real thing. It's everywhere. We had those several times. We have made a memorial service for someone who commits suicide. You don't do those things easily. It's the ultimate act you can take. And hopefully no one should do that. But it shows how big amount of suffering there has to be, and there has been. Took one's life is a big cry of help. Of course, we don't always see that suffering so well. If we don't suffer, if we are kind of fine, it's easy to forget how much sorrow and many kinds of hellish realms are going on in this moment right now. So we can give our suffering, we don't have to carry it alone. It never was just my suffering. It is suffering everywhere. We can open our hands and let the suffering be what it is, but we don't need to claim it. It is painful, but it is what it is. Buddha has said that he teaches only two things. First is about suffering, and then end of the suffering. Only two things. But if we don't know suffering at all, if we don't have personal experiences, if we have locked it out, if we have closed it out, if we so forcefully can push it away and deny, and that's not so rare thing to do. We can deny suffering. We don't let it be close. We make some distance. But then we don't, also at the same time, we miss our opportunity to grow, to go deeper, to let go, to see what is beyond. Suffering is always there, standing and kind of a guard, asking, do you really want to go this way? And then you say, I'll come back later. So it will be there waiting for every one of us. Fear and suffering and those difficult things. And those difficult things and moments and experiences might also make us ask deep questions. Deep questions. Meaning of life, or what is the purpose of all of this? If I anyway will die, if I anyway will become sick, what's the point to do anything? Because this will be soon any time. And anyway, where I will go when I'm dead? Was this all? Why some people die young, good people dies and bad people are rich and lives long? Unfair world. I will quit, I will leave. This is not for me. I'm tired with all of this stupidity that I see around. So, yes, this is not really some of those childhood Sundays or something that we have experienced. And since we are quite clever people, we can, as I said, we can try to we can try to cover up our suffering. We can try to push it away using not so wholesome actions. But sooner or later, if we are lucky, we come to our senses a little bit. If we are lucky. I say lucky, maybe it's karma, maybe it's whatever, I don't know. I like karma. It's not, I didn't like this concept long ago, but today it doesn't seem so black and white anymore. It's not black and white at all. And if we are honest, we start to make some inquiries. We try to solve this dilemma we are having. Koan is one of those tools that some people have used in the history of humankind. Questions like, who am I? And if we can really ask, like really ask, then it will work. But if we are asking half-heartedly, if we are not really sure if we want to know what is the answer, it's much more difficult, of course. Because if you truly ask, it means that you don't know. There's something you don't know. You have to admit that you don't know anything, actually. All those things that you think you know are very small things. Yes, so this koan is about that. He's asking what is the meaning of Bodhidharma's coming from the West. It sounds, of course, a little bit funny to think about this situation if it would be literally like it is here now in this koan. But it's a serious situation, serious question. You are asking, you have been asked, There you are. And you've been asked, what is? And that's the question you should answer. It's a wake-up call. What is the meaning of Bodhidharmas coming from the West? It's this. Not something that happened yesterday. This commentary begins like this. Though your eloquence flows like a river, it is all to no avail. Even if you can explain the whole body of the Buddhist sutras, that also is useless. If you can really answer, you will revive the dead and kill the living. But if you can't answer, you must ask Maitreya when he comes. Of course, you yourself, you are Maitreya. But it's not just now, it's for future thing. So if you cannot do it today, you have to wait. But it's okay. What else can we do? Even if I can explain, even if I can think about those things, and even if I can kind of make my way intellectually around all problems, of course that doesn't help you. And still we want to know, what is this thing? What is this truth? What is this thing that Buddha thought? All our practices, all these practices we are doing here, whether it is counting the breath, being one with the breath, koan, shikantasa, same thing. Same thing. And that's actually why, because it is fundamentally very much same, it's sometimes okay to, let's say we've been sitting some time here now, and some concentration, some power of concentration already. So we can, then we don't lose our foothold so easily if we change a little bit of practice. I mean, because fundamentally we are not changing anything. Sometimes it's good to take some fresh air and just sit, non-judgmentally, just sitting here. Nothing else. It's very difficult to just sit. Perhaps it's the most difficult thing, because it is enlightenment itself. If we don't add anything, if we don't add or comment anything, if it's just sitting, one thing I sometimes ask myself, sometimes I ask, like this life, the way I'm living, I'm not talking about now that I'm living here in Sanneji, but in general, how this body, mind is present here and doing different kind of things during the day. And I kind of look this wholeness of this doing, and I can ask, if you would give, or if I would, let's say it this way, if this is what I would give, sorry, it was wrong word. If this is what I would get as like this life that I'm living, if this would be the life that I will receive when I'm born, when I am coming, when I will be here, would it be okay? Another way, of course, is that this life that this body-mind is going through, I will hand it, I think so. I will kind of hand it over to next. I don't say who is this next, but if it is so, let's say, I will hand this over to someone who will take over one day this life. Don't think too rationally. This is not really meant to be so, but so would I be happy to hand this life to next one? Or do I feel that, damn, it's a little bit dirty thing to give someone else? Or am I okay? Is it okay like it is? Is this a good present to someone, this life I'm living now? Like I am, the way I do live. In details, everything. Not just what we see from the outside or inside, so-called outside, inside, but the whole package. Would I wrap this up and give like a present to next one? And believe or not, I usually say, okay, I will give this like this. Maybe I'm stupid, but anyway, it's an interesting question, because maybe it shows that do we appreciate our life? How do we see our lives? Is it something that is actually so all right that we would even give it to someone else? And this life of practice, of course, also polishes, if you can say so, this gift, this present that we can hand over. It becomes less and less something that leaves traces around. Yeah. Maybe these traces are now enough. May all beings attain the Buddha way.